Most coaches never actually break through with their business. They reach a cap, specifically a revenue cap, and then they either plateau or invariably move backwards until they decide to swap niche. And today I want to break down exactly why coaches cap out, and I'm going to give even a few different examples of revenue levels, but especially where I see the most people just cap out and actually finish. The reason being why I'm so passionate about this is because at my company Voix, I run a 6-figure program called Incubator and a 7-figure program called Apex. So I've literally seen the contrast between someone who gets stuck at 6 figures a year and actually makes 7 figures a year. And this is coming from someone who has a 7-figure coaching business and a 7-figure agency. So I've seen it in multiple domains and I know exactly why people get stuck. So I'm going to break this down into 2 different sections, and both of them are basically going to explain exactly why people don't move forward and don't make more money. Now, I agree it's not all about bigger Stripe screenshots and making more money. However, it is about following through on what you set out to do and also having as big of an impact as possible. So the first factor why people truly never break through and never make more money with their coaching business and really hit a cap of, let's say, 40 to 50K a month is purely psychological factors. There's a few different factors underneath here, but it's purely psychological. And I'm going to break it down why. Let's take an example, right? Let's say you're a coach and you're really good at what you do. Let's say you're a public speaking coach, you're a fitness coach, you're a nutritionist, maybe a dietitian, something like this. And you get into coaching because you say you want to help people, and now you're making 30K, 40K, 50K a month. You are now basically making more than most doctors would in the West, especially where I'm from in Ireland. A basic doctor wouldn't be making 300K, 400K a year. Now that's great. That is good, right? But what does that breed? That breeds complacency. Someone who's making 30 to 40K a month can eat at nice restaurants, can go on vacation, can maybe fly first class, can go to a few different hotels and live a very modest life. And because of that, they get hugely complacent. What that means is they slow down on the things that were helping them get there in the first place. Because quite frankly, they were a dog in the beginning. They were out there, scrappy, making stuff happen. They don't even know the difference between acquisition and delivery. They're just making things happen. And as a result, they were making huge progress. Why? Because when your back is against the wall, you actually make way more money than you ever will in the comfort of your own bedroom. So Mike Tyson has this saying, which is, it's very difficult to run 5 miles when you wake up in silk sheets. And it's the exact same analogy. People's silk sheets can be anything. It can be 20K a month, 40K a month. But when that complacency hits in, you are literally on a downward spiral because you stop learning, you stop working, you stop trying to get stuff done, and instead you just get hit over and over again because you feel comfortable. And this is basically the reason why for a lot of things, right? When people get complacent in their careers, they never actually become like a CEO. When they get complacent with their physique, they actually get out of shape. When they get complacent in their relationships, they start declining. Next thing you know, they're divorced, splitting the kids, all this kind of stuff. Because complacency is the thing that's going to kill you. And I see this over and over again. In my mentorship, I only work with people who are killers. They have that innate killer instincts. They want to do big things. They want to make a ton of money. They want to help a lot of people. And it's a huge factor. The flip side of complacency is fear. I feel that in this online business space, info, product, coaches, cowboy space, a lot of these guys are fearful of making more money. And the reason being is not because like a fear of success, which I think is total BS. It's more because they hacked it together to get it to like 40K a month. And now they realize that they can't sustain that without working more because they never learned or never changed their identity to become the person who makes 100K or 200K a month. Because yes, there's some technical changes, which I'll explain later, but mainly it's a fear-based thing. If you're acting out of fear, you're not going to do something, right? You're not going to do anything. I was fearful of creating software because I'd spent many years trying to build software when I was younger. And then when I went back, I had to get over the fear of building a software company. And now my company, Aura, is an awesome product. Quite literally, fear is an inch deep and a mile wide. It will consume your brain and you'll tell yourself different things. I'm happy with where I am. Everything's good, man. Yeah, I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I don't really know what I want to do next. Maybe it's an alignment issue. Maybe it's a personal issue. It's like, no. All of these personal problems are manifesting in your business, and that's the reason why it's holding you back. And it's fear of knowing that the identity that you are, and identity who you've become, needs to change. Because honestly, you should be evolving so much that you're literally a different person every single quarter. Like, I literally feel like I'm a different person month over month because I have to change so much for the company that I have, for the person I want to be, even in my relationships, right? A lot of times your business is a reflection of your personal life. And as a married man, there's things I need to do that align myself to that. And getting over those fears is super, super important, right? Because you're going to make any excuse in the world where you're not going to make more money. And it's usually a fear-based thing. The other side of it then is this is where I genuinely talk about like actual alignment. Like when people say it's not aligned, that's total BS. What actual alignment is alignment with your words and your actions. So if you say on the internet, I want to have the biggest impact ever, and I want to help so much people. Does the person who wants to have the biggest impact ever say, Mia, I'm not going to hit the sales call, I'll just sell by chat? Does the person of the biggest impact ever say, nah, I'm not going to do that. Nah, sounds like a lot of effort. I'm happy where I am. I'm comfortable where I am. No. So if you align to your actual words, your actual word track that you've told yourself, you would want to do bigger things. You would want to help more people. I want to help coaches and consultants scale aggressively and profitably. We've worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs. I want to help thousands, tens of thousands. I want to do 5,000 person stages. I want to do huge events. I want my software company to be able to help as many people as possible because I'm genuinely interested in other people. And if you are self-serving, then you are not serving your clients. And if you truly want to have an impact, then by saying, oh no, I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z is actually non-congruent. Like that's a lack of congruency. And because of that, your word track is incorrect. It's basically almost snookering yourself by saying, oh, I want to help as many people, but then you're not actually doing it. And that's where impact is super important. Now, again, you don't need to be this super altruistic person who, gives away everything. I'm not saying that at all. Actually, quite the opposite. Of course, your business is there to help you, but it's like a Naval Ravikant quote, which is you're going to be paid in direct proportion to the amount of results that you generate for people. I think it was like a Elon Musk quote. But if that's true, which it is true, then the reason why you're not making more money is because you're not serving people at a higher level. And this is also why programs don't get better. I am on my third version of the incubator. I rebuilt it with Tom, my co-founder, 3 times. Why? Every single time we're like, this could be better, that could be better, better results, faster results, easier results for people. We're running our 4th mastermind because I'm constantly like, how do I make this better? How do I make this sharper? How do I make this more clean? And it's funny because the people who went to our initial mastermind, the way it is now in a year, it's completely different. It's like a complete different world because we're focused so much on it. And what I truly believe is that if you are not adjusting all the time, your clients won't adjust and they don't get better results. So again, it goes back to your clients in a tangible manner. So those are the psychological factors, and they are quite as significant as you can imagine. They're very significant psychological factors why you're stuck as a coach. The other one are physical factors. These are the physical reasons why you're actually not making more money. Because you have a fear-based reaction, this often means that you don't view yourself as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. You view yourself as a coach. I have never in my entire life told someone I'm a coach or an agency owner, or even that I'm an entrepreneur. I just say I'm a person who builds things, who enjoys to build things. I've never tied myself to one identity because I know that what I need to do in the business is going to be very adaptive. It's going to need to change. So one of the reasons, back to the physical, of why you're actually not scaling is because of the business that you need to adopt, right? So let me give you an example. What you've done to this point to get to multiple 6 figures a month, let's say 40K a month, that is wildly different to what you need to do to get to 100K a month. Now, it's not necessarily wildly different, but there's a massive step up in systems because what got you there won't get you here. And I'm going to give some tangible examples, right? If you are hacking it together to 40K a month, to 100K a month, you need to make things a bit more predictable. So you need to have an acquisition strategy, as an example. So let's just say one marketing channel, let's just say that's Instagram, you nail it. And I mean, like, you refine it, you nail it, you make it better. You're getting your stories correct, you're getting your reels correct, you may be hiring a videographer. You're just really, really stepping things up because you know This is an acquisition channel that got us to 40K a month. We can really squeeze the juice to get to 100K a month. People don't do this because they think that it's more work. They think that for you to make more money, it's a 1 penny in, 1 penny out. And that is totally flawed. Totally flawed. That's just completely inaccurate. The reason why it's inaccurate is because due to the laws of leverage and asymmetrical returns and power laws, if you are nailing in an acquisition strategy, it means less work. And this is where all the coaches, the business coaches, don't tell you, because they have hacked it to themselves. But from someone who's made multiple six figures in one single month, I can tell you, it all goes down to power laws, having a client acquisition strategy that's predictable, really ironing that down and getting it done. Similarly with your delivery or your fulfillment. I have done less fulfillment this year than I have in my entire life because of the systems I've designed, the team members that I have that support me, and also how we refine what we need to do to get the results of people. As I always have to say, people don't care how to get the result as long as they get the result. So we make sure that all of our stuff is detailed, specific, really tight, really dialed in. And as a result, we get amazing results for people. So that laws of leverage is super important because the person who makes 100K a month isn't thinking about putting in more pennies. They're thinking about higher forms of leverage. And this isn't just reading a book on leverage, right? This is actually looking at what is predictable to get the result that they need. And what this means is it's skill development. And I've seen this single-handedly with coaches that I work with, is they don't develop the skills that they need to be able to scale. So most important is things like sales, learning sales at a high level, learning a content strategy that brings in actual leads and not likes, and really developing that down and actually loving it. And this is still also a psychological factor, right? Because the tactile physical stuff, which a lot of people don't talk about, is a reflection of the psychological. And the more that we can understand that this is an ongoing thing forever, that's the better results we're going to get. Let me use me as an example. I'm going to go through the whole journey. We hacked our agency together to 50K a month. We then went into rev shares. We got to like 80K a month. From there, then we were making 80 to 100, and it was very tough to scale. We went into education. I learned how to teach. I learned how to systematize. We then got to like 150, okay? And then I bought a recruitment agency and we looked at different ways to improve that. I built an advisory offer inside of our education business called Apex. And then lo and behold, we hit multiple six figures a month. You do that by looking at the skill you need to develop, becoming the person that you need to be, taking on that next step, okay? Because what's been told in this space is completely wrong. And I think what I really, really want to help people with, and this is part of like all of my free content and all of my paid contents, right? Is a lot of the stuff you've been told is total BS. All this, you need to serve yourself first, sell by a napkin, don't get on sales calls, don't hire people, all that is BS. All that matters is getting the results for people, seeing how you get the results for people, how to systematize that so that you can get the results for more people in an easier way. I'm going to give you an example. One of my clients, Jack, lovely dude, is a fitness offer, the most commoditized offer in the entire world. When he came to join my advisory firm, he had lots of like preconceived ideas as to what the industry should be doing. And he won't mind me explaining some of this. One thing specifically he said as a fitness coach, right, was that you can't hire sales reps until you make like 100K a month. That was complete BS. He was told this by someone who has never hired sales reps successfully as a business coach. I said, that's total BS because I've hired hundreds of reps and put them into clients and I showed them exactly how to do it, okay? Second thing was about he felt that bringing in team members meant more stress. That's total BS. The ideas that you have, the thoughts that you have, whatever you think this is right or wrong, the only thing that matters is the result. So you may think something should be a specific way, but the reality is very different. And when you realize that the reality is different, you have one of two things to do. You can hide and say, no, I'm gonna put my head in the sand, drive my head in the sand. Or you can adapt. Head in the sand, adapt. Just like Jack adapted. Just like a lot of the people that are in my advisory firm adapt, because I teach them this concept of like easy scaling that's very succinct and straightforward. It's a huge step up. And one of the most important points here on the physical is the team. So as I said, people have all these ideas why you shouldn't have a team and it's bad for you and everything, all this kind of stuff. Respectfully, if you can't manage a couple of people around you, how the hell can you even manage yourself? how can you take on the responsibility? It is an element of responsibility, and it is good for you. Some of my team are my best friends, literally my best friends. Tom, my co-owner, is my best friend. Piyush, my COO, came in as an operations manager, has become a partner in the company, and now we are closer than we've ever been before. All of my sales reps are close with. My wife works at the company. You think this is a problem? No. This is extremely, extremely helpful for me because they provide me the support that I'm not able to provide myself. They will give me a call on a Wednesday afternoon. I remember distinctly, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was just like really under pressure, had a lot of things going on, there was different things moving, and Tom rang me and he was like, how are you feeling? How are you doing? And we just went back and forth, and he was helping me on a few different kind of personal things that were showing up in the business and everything. And if it wasn't for his support, I would have never, ever been able to get through that on my own, because I would have spent the next couple of days going through it and kind of being in a bad position. Whereas we went in, we solved it, done, move on. You help people around you, you help your team members, you help your actual clients. They also come back around and also help you. And this is how it just becomes a huge flywheel effect. This is how you'll end up making more money than ever have before. This is how you'll have a bigger impact. And this is where I said I've developed so much as a person because of the changes I need to make in the business. And it's not about having a huge team. That's not what I'm saying here. It's about having a few people that support you on the mission that get you to the result. And let's look at this tangibly. What does that actually mean? Well, if you're at 40K a month and you came to me for your help, the first thing that I would do, I'd look at delivery. I'd see how much time you're spending in delivery. Ideally, do you need like an assistant, or do you need another coach? Do you need someone to help you, like a client success manager, to get the result in delivery, or an operations manager? Simple. What does that do? That buys you back, I don't know, 20 hours a week to either spend time with family, work on creative stuff like this YouTube video, or actually work on some acquisition. Okay. Ideally, we start working on creative and acquisition. Then what happens? Then we would look at the front end and look at the sales process. The quickest, easiest way to make more money is to hire sales reps. There is no two ways about that. You hire sales reps, you look at the leads that have bounced, you look at the leads that come in and don't do anything. They need to be worked, and you just work the leads. Why? Because if you were going to date someone and the person is super interested in you, 9 times out of 10, that person's not going to approach you. You need to approach them. And that's all that sales is speaking to the leads who want to be asked out on a date, who just simply haven't been asked. And that's such a simple solution. Ops manager, sales rep. 40K a month, 100K a month. How do I know this? Sophia, one of my clients, awesome woman, been working together for almost a year, which is so awesome. She literally has a setter and a VA. That's it. And she makes 100K a month. So what I'm saying is, if Sophia can do it, if someone like Jack can do it, if someone like I can do it, then why can't you do it? So I really hope this video kind of broke some limiting beliefs that you have about this, because as you can tell, it's 7:54 on a Sunday morning and I'm ripping out this video. I'm here in my office. I love what I'm doing. I love everything that I do. I love my clients. And it kind of upsets me when people are like, oh, no, this doesn't work like this. Because the reality is, it's worked so well for me. It's worked so well for hundreds of other people. And why can't it work for you? So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.